President Trump's vow to wipe ISIS from the face of the earth, it may be in motion as the stakes have reportedly been upped in the fight against the Islamic State in Syria. Now, according to reports, hundreds of U.S. Marines and Army Rangers armed with heavy artillery now on the ground in the war-torn nation. The deployment part of a specific mission to take back the city of Raqqa from ISIS. Syrian President Bashar al-Assad naturally not a big fan of the move. He's calling the deployed troops, quote, invaders. And guess what? My next guest says he's right. This isn't some filthy hippie. This is Iraq combat veteran and KFIM 640 radio host Bryan Suits. Suits, are we invaders in Syria?
Well, technically, Assad has a point, and this has been a little embarrassing. The Obama administration avoided this discussion because no one really held their feet to the fire about an authorization for use of military force for Syria. They said, hey, this is all one thing. And the Trump administration is saying, all right, if it's all one thing, then we'll make this a conventional one thing.
Yeah.
And if Assad played the card, when he's fresh out of use for us, if we do help the Syrian Kurds wipe out ISIS, the next day Assad's going to say, thanks,
bye.
I'll name a street after you, but bye, you're invaders.
We hate the Kurds.
And he may be a bad guy, and he's a dictator SOB, but it's a sovereign state, and there's no UN resolutions or anything saying that we can do this.
Yeah, aren't those the lessons we learned from invading Iraq?
Well, there were loads of UN resolutions against Saddam that effectively took his sovereignty away.
Interesting.
I mean, literally. He wasn't in charge of his own airspace. That doesn't exist in Syria. And again, Assad's a bad guy, but this has not been dealt with.
And it won't be as long as Russia is on the Security Council, correct?
Yeah, they want until it's time to evict the gringos. When ISIS is done, and then Assad wants to clean up business the way he wants to, which is rebels first, Kurds second, then they're going to ask us conveniently to get the hell out.
Yeah.
And it's going to be hard because by the end of this week, we're going to have north of 1,000 Marines and soldiers east of the Euphrates, along the Turkish border, north of Raqqa, poising for an assault on Raqqa. We have 2 active helicopter bases physically in Syria right now. And, it's, like I said, it's going to be embarrassing if Assad checks the deed on Syria and sees that he's still on the owner there.
I guess my question is, as you point out all the geography and the positioning, is Syria and Russia have destroyed Aleppo and caused so many civilian casualties. Do we really want to go in there and make a horrible situation that much worse? And who are we fighting?
Aleppo, luckily, there's nothing left to blow up in Aleppo, so the Russian Air Force has moved on to another town south of Raqqa, and it looks like Assad wants other people to die in Raqqa, and that's going to be the Syrian Kurds, the YPG that we're supporting. Problem is our NATO ally Turkey are busy blowing up the Syrian Kurds as we speak, and so it's hopelessly complex. But I don't think American ground troops are going to be leading the assault into Raqqa, but it's become a very conventional conflict for America now. When you bring artillery, you're fighting a conventional war. It's no more of this.
I mean, you are, but it's interesting because, the rationale, and this is a holdover from the Obama era, is if we're giving them heavy artillery, rocket power, and air cover, then we're not really fighting. We're just kind of helping them out. But as you point out, no, that's conventional warfare.
Yeah, you tell the Marine artillerymen that are setting up a forward operating base north of Raqqa that they're not fighting a conventional war. They're fighting a very conventional war. And if you want to amend the authorization for use of military force and pencil in Syria, then go ahead. Call it one big thing.
I agree with you completely. I think it's so odd and illogical to say that AUMF applies to Syria. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and this goes back to 2015. The Obama administration was when Republicans tried to bring that up. Obama said, "Well, what's the point? It's like declaring a completely separate war against the Japanese when we're fighting everyone all at once."
No, it's not World War II. Actually, the world is very different now, and I think the one thing we've learned is you have to put a point on it and be specific. Suits, thank you for being here. You look very studious.
Just getting ready for this big storm that's coming into L.A.
Yeah, okay. They already canceled school for tomorrow here, so my urchins are going to be out begging for salami and sledding. God love them. Goodbye.